So, a while back, I actually went to go see the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie, and to oversimplified, I very much enjoyed the film, had a lot of fun with it, and if you're definitely a Sonic fan, I recommend watching it. The animation of the film was honestly some of the best I've ever seen in the franchise. The soundtrack was actually really good this time, with like no really cringy music with like some of the first ever films had. Just really solid soundtrack. Like, legitimately, like most people, when Live and Learn came on, yeah, I felt chills. That was a freaking great moment. Honestly, the ending of the film, legitimately, for me, saved the film. Because, like, at that point, I was having some issues with the film. A lot of these more, like, small opinions, like nitpicks, stuff like that, but still, it was really much affecting my enjoyment. For one, I'm not sure if this is just a me thing or maybe it's like a first time viewing issue, but a lot of times when I watch a film, I feel like the pacing of a film's way too fast. I don't know, it's just hard to explain. It's just, for some reason, pacing with me just feels wonky a lot of times. One thing I can explain is that I had a lot of problems with Gunn in the film. This sudden conflict between Gunn and Sonic and the crew felt so forced. Like, for some reason, that one female gun commander who was just introduced in this film, like, suddenly thought that Sonic and friends were untrustworthy after she saw that the leader was presumably dead. Like, it was like, oh, I knew I couldn't trust him. Like, you knew you couldn't trust him. Why? Like, why do you not trust him? Like, could you, like, maybe, like, spend, like, a second, like, a dialogue saying, like, she doesn't trust aliens or something? Like, and they don't even pay it off. Like, once she's dealt with, the movie just ignores her. And it's the same with Sonic. Like, once the gun commander gives him the key card and presumably dies, I think, Sonic's like, oh, we don't know what's going on. We can't trust him. I'm like, why? Why? He, gun commander explained to you what was going on. He gave you the key card and he was clearly wanting to help you. And then you're like, oh, we don't know. We can't trust him. I'm like, and when they find out that, like, the two Eggmans plan on, like, well, doing something terrible to the world. They don't know the exact plans. Instead of telling Gunn what that's going on, they're like, okay, here's the plan. We're going to break into their base. Like, tell them what's going on. Like, I think Gunn would listen to you guys. Like, and then you can set up conflict between the two groups with disagreements on how they should solve the issues. Like, I don't know, like, Gunn maybe wants to do something too big and risky and, like, cost too many innocent lives to be harmed or something in an attempt to, like, desperate attempt to stop what Eggman is doing, and Sonic and the group disagree with that. Like, no, we have to do this a different way, and that leads to the conflict between the two groups. Because I don't know, I thought the two of them were on good terms after the second film. Like, yeah, they tried to capture Sonic initially in the second film, but after they got themselves saved by Sonic, I thought they were on good terms. Like, they weren't directly involved, but, like, they were allies when needed to be, but no, I guess not. So, another thing I had a slight issue with Gunn is mostly had to do with Commander Walters himself. So, they stated in the movie that Walters was, at the time, a low ranking soldier within the Project Shadow. He was just like a security guard. And that, you know, he was there, he tried to save Maria, Maria ended up dying, and, like, I feel like I wish they would have, like, gone more into Walter's feelings about that, like, failing to save Maria. Like, when I was seeing the trailer, I thought, like, okay, they're gonna like reveal that Walters was actually responsible for the death of Maria. It's gonna be this big moment for, like, what was generally meant to be a goofy type character. It's gonna be a goofy thing. He's gonna feel like he's spent decades feeling terrible about it, and that he was going to sacrifice himself to help Sonic and Shadow save the world, as to atone for his sins. That's what I thought they were going to do, but they instead kill him off, and they never really go into how he felt about, Maria dying. In all honesty, Maria felt kind of wasted in this film. She didn't get enough screen time, in my opinion. In all honesty, Shadow didn't get enough screen time either. I just wish they had, like, maybe 10 more minutes of the flashbacks and, sprinkle them out a bit more throughout the film. Like they did a good job of like conveying the relationship between Shadow and Maria. Like Maria, when she first saw Shadow, she wasn't afraid of him. She was actually just happy to see him. She was like, "Oh, this is a potential friend." It was cute, and they did show off a bit of the friendship, but it just didn't feel like enough. Like I didn't know Maria enough. Like since we saw Shadow throughout the rest of the film, we understand like some of his personality traits. But like I wish they just focused on Maria a bit more, so when they inevitably killed her off, the payoff felt more impactful. Like going in, like I knew exactly what was gonna happen, but for like general audiences, like it's like okay, they're friends, but I don't really feel anything for this character, like unlike the Sonic community does after years of knowing what happened to her. I just honestly it doesn't have to be like 10 minutes, like 5 minutes, like going more into her personality. Again, it's a nitpick. I wish they spent more time with Maria and Shadow. That's all I'm saying. Like as I stated earlier, I also felt there wasn't enough Shadow in the film. In this case, I can definitely understand why they wanted to keep it. CGI is expensive, and having Keanu Reeves coming back for the recording, I understand that. It's just the big marketing push of this film was Shadow, and I felt like I didn't get enough Shadow. Like I just needed like a little more Shadow. That's all. I hope they really explore his character more in future installments. But like in the third film, and like with how much they were showing him off, it felt like it just wasn't just enough. My final issue with the film kind of has to do with Joe Robotnik. Personally, when I first saw the trailer, I thought he was going to be playing the straight man, like the type of comedy like Robotnik's like being very eccentric. How Jim Carrey plays Robotnik. He plays Jim Carrey as like this eccentric character. Kind of doesn't take things very seriously. And like Robotnik, Gerald, he would take things more seriously. And no, they're kind of the same character. Like they're basically instead of like bouncing off each other like a comedy and a straight man, they're like just two chaotic forces. And it was sometimes it was fine, but then they had that dance sequence, like that terrible dance sequence. That was like the worst part, worst scene in the entire film. It was like that made me realize like how much they butchered Gerald and Robotnik in this film. Like I wanted him to be insane. They didn't lean into his dark insanity enough. They kind of did near the ending of the film, but he just felt way too goofy for my liking. I just wish he was a bit more serious, that's all. I will say though, the ending when Robotnik sacrificed himself to save the Earth and admit to Aegis Stone that he mildly enjoyed their relationship together, that was cute. That was really good. I will say that was great. Honestly, the whole ending sequence was truly the best part of the film. It was very weak for me a lot of parts, but the ending totally saved it and made it from being, I think I actually enjoy the other ones a bit better to like, yep, this is the best Sonic film. There's no question it is the best one. Best 10 out of 10. So yeah, despite me having some issues with the film, I really enjoyed my time. It satisfied this lifelong Sonic fan. Sure, they kind of annoyed the writing side of my brain, but the fanboy in me, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I'm really excited for the future installments. I may be a picky idiot, but I like fun, and hopefully the future films remain fun.